Hi, Mitchell Levy, global credibility expert, and we are at one of my favorite times of the week. And that is when I'm running the Leaders Living Their Values show, and I get to talk to a super cool guest about them and their values. And today I have one of my good friends, Dr. Joanne White. And Joanne, nice to see you.
It's wonderful to see you, Mitchell. It's been a while. You look
Uh,
great. I said that before, but I'm going to say that again live.
well, now we're live. Well, thank you, as do you. I appreciate that.
Thank you. Thanks for having
And
me.
Oh, it's always great to catch up, and we had a little bit of time in the green room, and I know you were not so happy when I said, "Hey, I'm not going to read your bio," so I'm just going to throw it over the fence and say, "Hi, who are you?"
Okay, well, we talked about me not doing my bio. So who am I? I'm somebody that believes that we're here to serve. I know I'm here to serve. And I wrote something about that the other day, which to me, you don't it's however you want to do that. It could be big, it could be small, but I feel that we're here to that's just one of the main things that we're here to do. And to me, that's really important. And I feel that we're here to spread kindness. I was doing a little bit of an experiment, Mitchell, about a year ago, and I just decided to, and I do this anyway, but I was kind of researching in my head, and I decided, well, let's see what happens when I interact with everybody and say wonderful things about them. Your dog is adore, and I do that naturally, but I was thinking your dog, it's so sweet. I love the way your hair looks. Your smile is incredible. And it's just so, to me, it's so wonderful to get people to smile, to get people to feel good. Especially, we've had some very difficult times, and it doesn't take much. It really doesn't. And I just find that I love to do it. It makes me happy, it makes them happy, and it can shift people's day. And I think that, again, you're asking who I am. So that's important to me. It's also important to live my truth. What's that? Just feeling that I can be genuine. You and I talked earlier. I do have some neural differences than a lot of people, and being able to get comfortable with that and comfortable with who I am. When I work with a lot of people, whether, couples or individuals or entrepreneurs, a lot of it is about getting comfortable with who they are, with their challenges as well as with their wonderful aspects. And we have all of it. We have, we're as humans, we can be messy, but we have some beautiful aspects. So you tell me if I'm running, because I could just keep running on.
No, no, I it's so funny. Some people like are really short, and then I got to pull a little bit more out. Some people are going longer, and and I'm loving what you're saying. So if feel free to continue or wrap up, and I'll ask a question. So
Okay. And I also feel that it's important, and this is something that I do every day, to have gratitude. I've had a lot of challenges. Many of us have challenges. It's been 2 years in terms of COVID, and just being grateful. I wrote a song, and I don't sing very well. So, I mean, I do, but basically in my shower. But it was a bit, and I created a little video about it. And basically it's a joy and gratitude song, which is, are you grateful for your ears? Are you grateful for your toes? Are you grateful for, you and I are connecting? And I also did one for birds. So, but in so I'll sing a song to birds. Are you grateful for your wings? Are you grateful you could sing? Are you grateful for the sunshine in the sky? Are you grateful you can fly? You know what's crazy is when I sing to them, they don't move. When I'm just walking, they move away, they fly away. But somehow that song, maybe it's I'm a little crazy with that, but it seems like they're paying attention.
I love that. God, was it Snow? It was Snow White that sung to the birds.
Oh,
Sounds
oh,
like you're in a Disney. You're in a Disney,
oh.
a Disney life, Disneyland like life. So
Yeah, except for the challenges. But I think that's the way to get out of the challenges is to be able to, even though we have them, to be able to find those moments. And I wrote something about that because one day I was walking and I just happened to turn and there were these butterflies on this bush. And it was the way the light hit or whatever, but they looked like they were glistening. And I thought, what a magical moment. If I hadn't turned to look in that moment, that direction, I would have missed such an incredible, beautiful gift.
mm.
And there are so many moments like that that we forget. And I just have a little story, real, and then you can tell me to shut up. So years
I don't know if I'd ever tell you to shut up, but when the time is right, I'll interject.
many years ago, I was working with a woman who was very well off. She and her husband were very successful. Every year she had a new car, and she came in and she was very down. I said, "How did you get here?" And I think that was the stimulus from my little song. She said, I drove here." I said, "Do you like your car?" "Yeah, it's great. It's brand new Lexus, da 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 da." And, "Are you married?" "Oh yeah, I love my husband. We have great kid." So it was about really being able to, what are we paying attention to? What are we looking at? What are we focusing on? And we had this session, and later on she called me up and she said, that did something to me. It made me realize that yeah, I have a lot of stuff going on that I'm not appreciative of and challenges, but I have a lot of stuff that's wonderful that I'm very fortunate to have. I might cry. And I think that we do. I mean, we're talking, the gift that we can talk. When I had my head injury, I couldn't put words or sentences together. And now I can do it a little bit better.
Oh, you're doing phenomenal. I actually remember that time. I let me summarize what I heard. One of the core tenets of being credible is being a servant leader. And so that comes first. It's when I'm hearing I hear love when you speak. And when I'm hearing the love, it's the intent and commitment to do the right thing. And for those you work with, it's for them to do the right thing, either if it's a couple for themselves, or if it's an entrepreneur to pull out their best. It's really interesting. Now, you mentioned this twice, so I thought we should dive down there. You talked a little bit about you process things neurally different than other people. So tell me about that.
Okay. So, and I talked to you about this earlier. When I first began to write, I thought I was writing like everybody else. And then my teachers were looking at it and they were like holding the paper this way and that way and any kind of way. And basically, the way that they could read what I wrote was to hold it up to a mirror. It's called mirror writing. Now, I didn't know. I wasn't doing it intentionally. Some people actually can do it intentionally, which I think is pretty amazing, but I can't. But because of that, I got a lot of flack and wasn't left to feel good enough or that there was something really, really wrong with me. So I've
Mm,
had to work with that. And I think that's why years ago I got into working with kids with special needs and all of that, because I identified with the fact that just because we don't fit into the norm or we're looked at as different, it doesn't mean that we're not capable and it doesn't mean that we're not good enough. But I had to shift all the negative talk, my self-talk in my head that said, something wrong with you. You're not good enough. You can't do this. You can't do that. You can't even walk down the street. You can't wash a it got to be immobilizing. But here we are. So I was thinking about that earlier because I'm writing a chapter, and basically when I was getting ready for this show, my head was saying, "Nice job, Joanne." It was giving me positive feedback, which it took a long time, Mitchell, to get to that place of really being able to kind of change the thinking in my head. And the thing is, if I could do it, anybody out there can do it too. And that's important. I mean, we have that ability to shift that negativity and come up with something really wonderful and caring and loving for ourselves as well as for other people, and that to me is very special.
Hmm. What is uh, sorry, there was a couple things that went two different directions at once, so I'm going to try to fine tune my thought process. The When I'm thinking about uh, potentially someone who would write and then they'd write it in mirror writing. By the way, so cool. Um,
I
and
can't do it now.
it's such an interesting. Well, I got that at one point in time. I could do the alphabet backwards, but I can't anymore. Right. So, um, it what happens is the world, because you're not the same as other people, are going to tell you that there's something wrong. And then how do you deal with that? How does somebody do that? I mean, that's the interesting in terms of how do you get to the point where you recognize that you're good? That I know because you just mentioned self affirmations and coming on and saying the right stuff. And I, by the way, yes. Uh, but how does one figure out that they're you use the word in the green room. We use the word normal, but I don't know what normal really means.
I don't
So
know what normal is either. Plus, if there is one and I'm not there, and I'm fine with that. So that's
love that. All right, got it. Wait, no. Let's just this quote.
okay. So
I don't know what normal is, and if there's not one, if there is one, I'm not there. Like, congratulations, Joanne. I'm with you. I raised
I
my hand. Part of the not normal club.
Yay!
Okay.
Okay. Even when I was younger, and it wasn't just because of the brain stuff, I just thought differently and had different interests, and there was a popular crowd that everybody wanted to be a part of, and I really didn't. I formed my own little group of outcasts, but we were having a great time because we recognized that we were cool within ourselves, and we didn't need to like be there, whatever that, and it was okay. All right, getting back to how do you do that? It took a lot of work. I work, I think I did a lot with working deeper with hypnosis and self-hypnosis and meditation, and I also do energy work, and I got into a lot of different things to try to figure out what to do, including counseling, and I think basically working deeper, and because it's basically paying attention. So what I used to do, give you an example. My brain would say, "You can't," and came from my mother, and I loved her dearly, still do. She's just passed on. But she would say, "Driving," she would say, "Don't go on the throughway, you gotta be careful driving." So the minute I got my license and I was so happy, I was sitting in my car and my foot was going like this on so and all I kept seeing was my car crashing. Okay, and so there I am, I'm really wanna drive and my car and I'm seeing that in my head, and I don't know what to do, and so I decided to create a cartoon while I'm sitting there. So, the cartoons where well, so basically, I saw my car and another car, instead of hitting each other head on, they had faces, and they were just kinda dancing together, and it helped me. And I actually years ago I created that for other people. So basically cartoon your fears away, because that's literally what I did. And it worked. Finally, I was able to do that. I got out of the fear and my foot wasn't shaking anymore and I drove off.
Wow. I
Crazy.
like it. Well,
Crazy, isn't it?
well, I hadn't heard anyone talk about it that way. So I will now spread your cred dust when I share it as a cartoon. I always thought about visualization, because you could visualize and support yourself that way. The fact that you see it in cartoon, is it black and white or color cartoons?
At the I it was in color at the time, but that it was important because I still do visualization, but this was a very quick way of being able to shift it so that it could be kind of funny and lighthearted, and it works. When I work with couples, this is funny, and sometimes they're having a lot of couples have challenges with communication, and I say to them, let's create. Why don't you create something, some kind of word but something funny that can actually stop the two of you in your tracks going down the road or the wrong direction. And one beautiful couple, actually, I can't, they created a bird sound. And every time they did it, they would laugh. So it would take away some of the tension and some of the that was going on and get them to lighten up and also recognize that, we better not go down that path.
Hmm.
S- See, strange brain, right?
Yeah. No. Well,
I'm being playful. I like
we're
to play.
we're all unique, right? And we're all interesting, and how we process the world is always so different. And it's so much fun. I guess one of the questions I was thinking about you is who who was a coach in your life? Who was a mentor in your life that shared something that sort of tipped the scale at some point in time, and what did they share?
Okay, so it was actually when I was going for my PhD. It was actually, she was in my master's. It was a professor. And basically, because my brain doesn't work normally, she actually encouraged not just me, but other people to be able to do unique kinds of things. And it gave me confidence. It even gave me confidence to go on and get my PhD, to be able to say, wow, I mean, this is great, and I appreciate what she's doing, and if she can do that and for other people, I can go on and do that for myself and other people as well. So she was okay with you being different and actually applauded that in some way, and gave not just me, but other people the ability to utilize their imagination, to utilize other gifts that they had, rather than just following, okay, this is what you have to do for your thesis, and it's got to be X, Y, and Z, and you know, and she made an impact. It was
Hmm.
because she allowed us to be who we were, and recognized it and celebrated it. And I
Oh,
think
nice.
that's keys for us to be able to recognize our differences and others, and be okay with it, be more than okay with it, and celebrate it. It makes for, since we're all different and also alike in many different ways, why not enjoy it and have fun with it?
What was her field of specialty?
This was when I was getting my master's initially in special education and education. We're still in touch, by the way.
Really?
Yeah, because I
Nice.
asked her to, yeah. I sent her that joy and gratitude video.
Nice. So, and did you ended up doing a little bit in special ed as well?
Yeah, initially that's what I did. I mean, I decided to go into education and special education. I did that, and for years working with children with autism and special needs and their families, and still do that to some extent.
What was the name of this friend, this mentor that supported you? Oh, if you're uncomfortable, that's all right.
Yeah,
So,
I don't know if she wants me to reveal that, so
all
I'm
right.
not.
So it's
But
interesting.
actually, I will. Her name is Dr. Nettie Bartel.
Nice. All right. So, Dr. Nettie, congratulations. Gratitude is sent your way. Love is sent your way, and it's always amazing to me for those of us in life that have some Dr. Nettie somewhere, right? And they had such a large impact in terms of bringing out the best of who we are. They had such a large impact that's in your case, that's what you ended up doing for a while. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. I think, again, we can have impact, Mitchell, on other people. And it doesn't have to be huge. It could be, like I said earlier, that smile, or just some way of relating to them, or recognizing that you look sad. Can I do what, whatever it is. And that's so important.
So I think that piece of it is showing respect. Let me step back and say, like, when I think about showing respect, it means coming your full present self to whatever meeting you have, and recognizing that the person, like, what was going through my head as you were speaking is we get this mental image of ourselves, like, for ourselves, right? And then we carry that image for 5 or 10 years, and we still think we're younger or different than, right? And then one day you wake up and you really look at the mirror and go, "That's what I look like," right? And even though you've looked at yourself the last couple of years, and what's interesting is we also do this to others, particularly people who are close in our lives.
Right.
We have a mental image of who they are, and so when we're with them, we may not actually really be with them. And it sounds to me like that's part of what you do, is allow people to wake up their inner selves to actually be more present. Am I catching something? Is that right?
Yeah, I love that. That's great. Yeah, I think it's important. It's important to know who you are and to embrace that and to celebrate that like you want to celebrate other people, and to put that out there. So people will say to me, "How are you?" And I say, "Crazy as ever." And I get a laugh. And then I think in my head, if they only knew. But I mean, I don't know how to not be me at this point. But
It's
that's probably taken years, because I used to be very shy, and people say, "No, Joanne, you were shy. How could you have been?" Yeah, I was shy. I remember going out on a date a long, 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 long time ago, and we were in a car. There were four of us, and they were talking in my head, and this is part of getting past all the negativity. "Joanne, say something. Just say something. Just open your mouth and just say anything. Say something." No. I finally did, but I don't remember what it was.
Oh my, that's interesting.
See, I'm
Crazy as
revealing
ever.
too much to you today, Mitchell.
Well, Joanne, I don't. It's so interesting. I don't do when somebody asks how you doing. I don't actually ever give a pat answer, and I know, not everyone says that. And when they do that, I sit back and I go, hmm, and then I do a mental and physical inventory. You're like, right, and then they go, that wasn't a hard question, and and I'm like, well, it I wanted to actually let you know how I really was, right? And so it just starts off like, because I wanted to show that I was present, that I was there for them.
And that's important. And I want to make people laugh. So, and get a smile, and that works every time.
I'll bet it does.
They're not.
What does crazy mean to you?
What is crazy? Being playful, being silly, being, I like to dance in the morning. I'll turn on music. I'll dance by myself. It's about just being spontaneous. It's not really like crazy, that kind of, it's being spontaneous. It's being playful. It's just being me,
I
but in a good way, whatever that means.
Well, I love the lyrics of the song, particularly the one when you were singing to the bird.
Oh,
That's pretty cool. Hey, I
and
got
if I
three.
really could sing, I would sing to you, but you don't want to hear that. No.
I will not encourage you to do something you don't want to do. We could do that. We could do that offline. Okay. I
I'll
actually have had guests sing, and I'm like, okay. It's not something I'd want to do for either, so I will not encourage that. Hey, so I have three really cool questions. So stick around. First, for people who want to reach out to you, what is the best way for them to do that?
Okay, so I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, Dr. Joanne White with an E, the Joanne with an E. And also you can get a hold of me, Joanne with the E, at dr.joannewhite.com. I have a website, and I love connecting with people, and that's important. And I may not say I'm crazy. Well, yeah, I guess I will, I can't not say
I
that
think that's what you normally do. Yes.
cannot say that line. So, even if there's something in the head that says, do something else. No.
All right. Got it. So, based on this conversation, is there a question that you would have wanted me to ask that I didn't?
I guess what's next?
Ooh. Okay. Dr.
Okay.
Joanne White, what's
Oh,
next?
well, now I've got to get real formal. So, I love writing. I'm working on a couple of chapters for some anthologies, and some of them are revealing some of what I revealed today. So, hello. And I guess continuing to serve in a larger way. I think that while I'm here, let's do it. Let's make an impact. And so what does that look like? I'm not exactly sure what that looks like, but that's okay. But I just feel that there's more to be done. There's more to do. By the way, that joy and gratitude video, excuse me, I was having people, and I haven't done it for a while. I think I'll redo it. I was having people buy it for any low amount with something else, a whole joy and gratitude book or whatever, and the proceeds were going to the World Central Kitchen because that was important. And again, that's part of being here to serve. I mean, I think that's again, I don't want to be repetitious, but I think that's so important to recognize. And when people will say, well, what does it mean to serve? So the guy today we have our trash pickup. So the men that are doing that are taking care of that's a lot of hard work. They are serving. It's nice to know that I could put my trash can out there. It sounds silly, but it's not. So, and somebody will magically take it up, and I can just bring it in and I'm done with it. Isn't that amazing? That's amazing.
we we actually say hi to our we have three different garbage men because there are three different things. So we actually say hi. We say hi to our mailman. During the holidays, we give a letter of thanks with a small amount of money in there, and the garbage man doesn't remember us by name, but the mailman, when we see him around town, he'll go, Mr. Levy, hi, nice to see you. And it's just the little things you can do by just recognizing that people are being of service to you. That's a great example. Love that.
Well, thank you. But there's one other silly thing. And because I've been doing a lot with Publishers Clearinghouse, and so my mailman keeps bringing all this stuff. And I said to him, so when I make all this money, you're going to get some too. So, I mean, why not, right?
Oh, that's funny. I love that. Well, this was amazing. Thank you so much for spending time with me today. I appreciate it.
Well, I appreciate you, Mitchell. You are a wonderful person and make people feel comfortable. And like I said earlier, I'm going to say it again. You have a great smile. So keep smiling.
Thank you. Thank you. Hey, so listen, if you're still here at the end, you have only one job left. It's an important job.
Oh,
It's
no.
to spread Dr. Joanne's cred dust. Click on the like button, share with your friends, document, write down that aha moment that made sense to you, that really triggered something. And we'll see you at the next episode of Leaders Living Their Values. Thanks so much, everyone. Take
Thank
care.
you.
Bye.